Good morning and welcome back to WeAreNeo. In today's episode, we're gonna pour the concrete for the foundation, and for this I got some help from two workers because I can't do it alone. And I didn't quite finish the holes yesterday, so that's what I have to do now. And the workers also gonna help me with the rebar. Let's see what they're doing. My first helper is mixing the concrete in the wheelbarrow because I don't have a machine. And he already put the first layer and then the mesh on top. And that's how it's gonna look. And on top of this, we're gonna put a rebar pillar. And my second helper is helping me with the rebar for the pillars. He has a little bit more experience than me and is much faster because I was doing this yesterday until late at night, but I couldn't finish it. So I'm really glad that I have some help. So he mixed the concrete in the wheelbarrow
in der Schubkarre.
and now he will pour it in the box. He's laying out the concrete. I think we're gonna need a lot of wheelbarrows full of concrete for this. The first two concrete slabs are finished. And he is working on the third one, laying the concrete. And that's how the rebar mesh looks like before we put the concrete.
Bevor der Beton reinkommt.
We wired it inside the box to make it straight. Now we finished pouring the concrete into the boxes and the workers are already gone. So now the concrete has to dry, which happens pretty fast here. So I have to water it twice a day. And soon Paul is coming with his backhoe to lift up the concrete pipes because they are weighing 100 kilos, which was a bit of a mistake because I never thought about how to get the pipe onto the rebar construction. Because in the YouTube video I watched, they just did this with cardboard pipes, which you can't buy in Costa Rica. That's why I thought the concrete pipes are a good idea, but I think it would be easier to make it out of wood. Now we are welding the metal plates onto some steel bars,
Zwei Metallstangen fest.
which I'm gonna put on top of the pillars to weld the container onto. That's how it looks when it's done. It won't win a beauty award, but it's gonna be surrounded by concrete anyways, so nobody's gonna see it. Now I painted the metal plates with some anti-corrosion paint
Anti-Korrosionsfarbe
because that's the only steel which will peek out of the construction and the corrosion could crack the concrete.
machen, deswegen.
So that's why I painted it with this paint. So Paul has arrived with his backhoe and we lift the pipes over the steel construction. I'm a little bit scared that it will fall, but I have to help now. The first pipes are standing and Paul is removing the chain. And tomorrow we're gonna fill them with concrete and stick in the metal plate. And then everything is finished. It just needs to dry. Even the wasps know how to build their own house. Just we humans forgot how to do that. After 11 hours we are finally finished. All the pipes are standing. Tomorrow we have to fill them. It still looks a little bit wet because I just put some water to cure the concrete, because otherwise it will start to crack, especially in this heat. And after 1 week we hopefully can put the container on top. I'm gonna be really glad when this is finished, because it was a lot more work than I thought. But I hope it was worth it. There sits a mod, which always watches me while I work. It's a really beautiful bird. That's how it looks on the next morning. And I put up the ropes again to check if everything is leveled. And it's really accurate, down to 1 or 2 centimeters. And also the pillars are perfectly leveled, as you can see. So we just have to level the concrete. But I want to mention that the pipes were all a little bit different in length. But we compensated that by putting the longer pipes into the holes, which were a little bit deeper, which helped balancing the heights. But I think 1 or 2 centimeters won't make such a big difference in the end. Today I had to order more sand and gravel and a few bags of cement, because yesterday we already used most of it. And my worker is mixing it on the ground now. Apparently this is much faster than in the wheelbarrow. So now they're adding the gravel. They're mixing it in a ratio. For 1 bag of cement, they're using 3 wheelbarrows sand and 2 wheelbarrows of gravel. Now they're mixing in the water inside of the wheelbarrow. In total 1 wheelbarrow full of water. And it's much faster, because you don't have to mix everything inside the wheelbarrow. He has to fill up the whole pipe with concrete. It's really hard work. That's how it looks after 2 wheelbarrows, a little bit more than half, and he's stomping it with the plank to get the air bubbles out. The first pipe is full. He just made it level. And that's where we have to stick in the metal plate, and then it's finished. Now it's finally done. It only took 2 hours to fill everything with concrete. And there are the metal plates. Now it just needs to dry, which means I finally have time to cut the videos.
So I let the concrete dry for 2 weeks now, and then my plan was to lift up the container with 2 backhoes onto the feet. But unfortunately now the corona crisis also hit Costa Rica, and everything is a little bit on hold now. So now we have 2 weeks later. Since 1 month not much has happened, but today Paul wants to come again with his backhoe, so we can fill up the holes already and prepare everything. So as soon as we find a second backhoe, we just have to lift up the container and then we are finished.
Now we're gonna fill up the holes. Now he's flattening the ground with a shovel. Paul is going to rotate the container now with his excavator arm into the right position. Now he is pulling it from all over there. It's really hard to maneuver here in this tight space. I think he ran himself in now. He can't get out. He almost ran himself in. The gap looks pretty narrow. He has to fit through now. Otherwise, we're gonna have a problem. Barely.
Huh.
Millimeter work. Phew, that was lucky. The last bit, we are pushing the container into position.
It's almost done now. We turned the container in the right position. Now we just have to lift it onto the concrete feet as soon as the second excavator can come. And then I can finally start planning the roof and the kitchen and the workbench next to the container. So that's it for today's episode. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, please leave me a like. And if you have any questions, you can comment down below. Usually I answer all of them. And in my next episode, we will lift up the container onto the concrete feet. And I also want to tell you about all my learnings from this little project and what I could have done better. And if you missed the last episode, you can watch it here again, where I measured all the foundations. Until next time, peace.